What you're about to watch is a completely raw, basically unedited, and basically uncut version of a Michigan fan's reaction to the Ohio State Buckeyes versus Clemson Tigers playoff game. So if you're a Michigan Wolverines fan, an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, or a college football fan in general, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there, as well as the bell notification, so you don't miss any of the Michigan sports action. Now, without further ado, here's that reaction you came for. Enjoy! What's up, guys, and welcome to a reaction video. This is my reaction to the Ohio State Buckeyes versus Clemson Tigers playoff game. And if you're an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, I know what you're thinking right now. I got the Michigan logo in the back. This is a Michigan channel. You probably clicked on this video saying, wow, I'm gonna hate this guy. And you might even afterwards after the fact. But listen, the fact of the matter is I'm actually gonna give you some kudos, and you're gonna find out that we have a lot more in common than we may think going into this. So here's the thing. I live 11 minutes from Clemson University, and I know I've seen it on 11warriors.com. I've seen it on all the kinds of Ohio State blogs and Facebook sites and everything else. You guys were getting very upset with the Clemson Tiger fan base, and rightfully so. And there's what we have in common. Living 11 minutes from Clemson, and I have done so for 23 years now, wow, their fans have gotten ridiculous. Now, every fan base has their bad eggs and their good eggs, their cocky ones and their whatever ones, optimistic, whatever, what have you. But here's the thing, I have to deal with it on a consistent basis, and now because you guys have played them over and over and over again in the playoffs, you're having to deal with it on a consistent basis, to the point where Clemson Tigers are calling you their son and them your daddy. It's been ridiculous. So going into this game, sorry Michigan fans, I was actually kind of rooting for Ohio State. Now the bad part about that is now I have to root for Alabama, and I don't think Alabama's going to beat Ohio State. I said before the playoffs started, Ohio State over Clemson, and whoever wins that game, regardless though, is going to beat Alabama. And I don't know why I feel that way. I just kind of felt that way, you know? I feel like when you get that big win in the 2 versus 3 game, then you're ready and you're on fire to get the big win over the #1 seed, who I don't know if the 4 seeds ever won. Have they? I don't know. I can't look that up right now. So about the game, here's why I knew Ohio State was going to win. Because I don't like Clemson so much, I am rooting against them much of the season. So I see a lot of Clemson Tigers football. And here's what I noticed this year. Skowski was their best player on that defense. And he wasn't really a playmaker. He was a tackler. So he didn't really, there's no pick sixes and fumble recoveries for touchdowns out of him. That's not the kind of player he is. And they didn't have that in the secondary as well. So they didn't have Terrell or whatever his name was last year. They didn't have Isaiah Simmons. They didn't have that playmaker, and I knew that that secondary was young, fresh, and that could be a bad thing in some ways. It's going to be a great thing in the future as they continue to progress and get older, but for now, I knew they were very vulnerable. And if I'm a Clemson Tigers fan, I knew that was a concern going in. The defense as a whole just didn't look as impressive this season as I would have thought they would. And that's not taking anything away from the Ohio State victory. Obviously, it's a great victory. It's one you guys earned. And the way you did it, you just kind of trounced them. It was impressive. And let's talk about that as well. Justin Fields, wow. He ended up going 22 for 28, 385 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's pretty good. How'd he do on the ground? 8 carries for 42 yards. Great day for Justin Fields, and that's where I'm getting at is, last year, the way Justin Fields ended that game against Clemson, didn't you just know he was going to perform very well, and he was going to lead his team to victory? They just looked focused. They looked focused before the game, they looked focused during the game, and now they look focused after the game. They are on a mission, and that's why I think this Ohio State team is going to win it all. They look a lot like the year where they beat Alabama in the first round and then beat Oregon in the championship game. It feels a lot like that. So it's going to hurt my soul. Now, we are going to be calling the championship game live here on Intermittent Sports, the channel for Michigan Wolverines Sports. But I love it. I love it, guys, whenever Ohio State Buckeyes fans join us and Michigan fans join us, because I'm one of those people where I like to talk junk, but just for the fun of it. I never take anything too personally, and I hope you don't as well. So if you do want to watch that game live, Alabama versus Ohio State, please feel free to join along. We will be live streaming it and having a blast. That's me and my buddy Phil. We just have a back and forth talk as we call the game. It's going to be a good time, and we're looking forward to it. But what about this game did shock me? I'm going to tell you right now, did not expect for Clemson's defense to be so bad against the run. And again, that's more kudos to Ohio State though. Didn't expect for you guys to be so dominant. Man, you really won the line of scrimmage for sure. In fact, you had 254 yards rushing, 5.8 yards per carry against a Clemson defense. That's really good. You only have 1 touchdown, but that's not a big deal because, well, obviously Justin Fields threw for 6 touchdowns. And going back to Justin Fields really quick, geez, Pete, man, those long balls that he put on the dime, man, they couldn't have been any better. Like, they were so perfect. And sticking with that, man, Fields can do so much with his legs and with his arm. I just think he's harder to prepare against than Mac Jones is. So that's another reason why I give Ohio State an edge in the Alabama game. But yeah, just dominated up front, absolutely dominated. And then on the other side of the ball, your defensive line was unreal. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is great, don't get me wrong, he's an excellent quarterback, but what could he have done? The pressure that you were putting on him. The one thing that I will knock him for is he could not hold on to the football. He was fumbling it left and right, and that's something that even if you are getting pressure, you should be able to feel that pressure, make sure you tuck in the football, and don't fumble it away. But regardless, he had no options in this game. He didn't have time. You guys just owned, rush. Again, I told you you might not hate me as much as you think you're going to hate me because I'm here giving you daps. You earned it, okay? The fact of the matter is Michigan football's down. We're ugly. We look terrible. Everything's bad. I'm hearing rumors that we're giving Jim Harbaugh an extension, so none of that's going to change anytime soon. I'm telling you, because he's not the right guy for the job. He was the right guy for the job to make us go from here to here, but we need to go here, and we ain't going to do that under Jim Harbaugh. But anyways, I'm getting off on my stupid Michigan football rant. The Ohio State Buckeyes deserve this win. They earned it. They looked good on both sides of the football, and I expect them to take it against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Also, one of the last things I'll say, Chris Olave, 6 receptions for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Way to show up in a big game as the big-time receiver. What a job. Well, the receivers are all good in general, but Olave is the guy, man. He's the guy that's got to get it done, and he did. And I expect somebody else to get it done this next time around. That's just kind of how it works. That's how it worked for LSU last year. I said the same thing. I think they had Justin Jefferson go off in game 1, and they had Jamar Chase go off in game 2. So, last comment I'm going to make. The Skowski hit, that by definition was a targeting call. So anybody arguing about that, it is what it is, and it is so reminiscent of the Shaun Wade call last year, and it's hilarious to me. You should see, because I'm friends on Facebook with so many Clemson fans, because I went to high school with all these guys, and all of them are complaining about Skowski getting ejected. None of them are making excuses. They think they would have lost regardless, but they are complaining about that and some of the reffing as a whole, and it's just hilarious, isn't it? Because literally they said you guys were ridiculous for doing the same exact thing last year. Now, I'm not going to speculate who's right and who's wrong. All I am going to say is I do wish they would kind of change that, the way they go about targeting as a whole in the future, because by definition it was the right thing to do for both Shaun Wade and Skowski. But honestly, if you're a football guy and you're watching that hit, you don't want to see either of those two excellent players get taken out in a game that is so meaningful for something that was, I don't know, man. Again, if we're saying by definition, yes, they should have been ejected, but I think that definition needs to change a little bit because both of those guys looked like they were going in for a regular tackle. Maybe bad form in both instances, but it had more so to do with the quarterbacks kind of leaning into the hit and making it look worse than what it actually was. Justin Fields with those ribs, man, I hope he's okay with that. I know I'm a Michigan fan and I'm rooting against you guys, but at the same time, I want to see the best versus the best because I'm also a college football fan. So I want Justin Fields at 100% or very close to it, and I want to see Alabama and Ohio State duke it out. My prediction for the game, I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as people think. I think it's going to be one of those things where the teams are a little bit jittery early on. I'm going to go ahead and go 34 Ohio State, 31 Alabama. Now, I know you're thinking 34-31 and you don't think it's going to be high scoring. That sounds high scoring to me. Nah, yeah, but some people think it could get even higher than that. So that's what I'm going to go with. In fact, I'm hearing that it's historically a larger over-under than usual. I'm going 34-31. I'm taking the under because I'm sure that it's higher than 65 points. That's what I'm going to go with. Let me know your predictions below. Let me know if you're a Buckeyes fan, a Wolverines fan, a fan of any other team. I'd love to hear it. And guys, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel right there. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the Michigan sports action. We'll be here all year round, every single year for these 4 teams behind me and all the teams that they play. We'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have a blessed day.